Hello everyone, how are you all? Welcome to Vidya Guru. In today's session, we will be discussing current affairs for the month of December. All the important current affairs from the month are going to be discussed in this video. So, if you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends and do subscribe to the channel Vidya Guru. To get the notifications from the channel, press the bell icon, do not forget that. And this entire video is going to be in English. अगर आपको इस सेम कंटेंट का सेम सेशन आपको अगर हिंदी में चाहिए तो आप चैनल की प्लेलिस्ट में जाकर चेक कीजिए, वहां पर आपको सेम कंटेंट का एक हिंदी वर्जन भी मिल जाएगा. सो विदाउट एनी डिले लेट्स स्टार्ट. First of all, let's talk about ICC introduces minimum age. Recently, ICC has introduced a new law, a new rule, which says that a player must be at least 15 years old to play international cricket. From now on, any player below 15 will not be allowed to play international cricket, be it a woman or a man. Hassan Raza, who played 7 tests and 16 ODIs between 1996 and 2005. In 1996, he played his debut match, holds the record of being the youngest to play international cricket. Hassan Raza is the youngest player now to play the international cricket, the youngest to play any international cricket, and he will be the youngest for upcoming years also, because ICC will not allow someone between below 15 years. So as Hassan Raza played his debut match at the age of 14, he will be the youngest player for upcoming years as well. So his record will be intact until this law changes. As we have discussed the youngest player, let's talk about the oldest player also. Oldest player to play any international cricket is Wilfred Rhodes. Wilfred Rhodes, who played for England, and when he played his last match, he was 52 years and 165 days old. So he holds the record of being the oldest to play any international cricket. As we have talked about international cricket, so international cricket is controlled by ICC, which stands for International Cricket Council, and the CEO of this council is Manu Shoni. Important is, the name is important for you. The headquarter of this council is at Dubai, UAE, United Arab Emirates. Let's move forward and talk about Cost of Living Index 2020, which has been launched recently. And in this index, Zurich, Paris and Hong Kong shared the top spot as the most expensive cities in this index. The index name is Cost of Living Index, and in this index, Zurich, Paris and Hong Kong shared the top spot as the most expensive cities. These three names are important for you. Zurich is in Switzerland, Paris is in France, and Hong Kong is in China. Meanwhile, Damascus, Tashkent, and Lusaka. Damascus is the capital of Syria, Tashkent is in Uzbekistan, while Lusaka is in Zambia. These three cities ranked last three spot as the cheapest cities. As the name implies, cost of living index. So it is, this index is telling us what is the cost of living in a particular city. So as I told you about the expensive cities, here are the cheapest cities also. Damascus, Tashkent and Lusaka, the cheapest cities to live in the world. This cost of living index 2020 has been released by EIU, which stands for Economist Intelligence Unit. Now its headquarters is in London, and London is in England. It was founded in 1946. Let's move forward and talk about Quarantine and lockdown. You must have heard these two words a lot this year because of COVID-19. Quarantine has been declared as the word of the year by Cambridge Dictionary. Cambridge Dictionary has declared quarantine as the word of the year. And same is with lockdown. Lockdown is also named as the word of the year, but not by the Cambridge Dictionary, but by Collins Dictionary. Collins Dictionary has declared lockdown as the word of the year 2020. Why has these words been declared as word of the year? Because quarantine is the most searched word for the year 2020 in Cambridge Dictionary. Meanwhile, lockdown is the most searched word for the year 2020 in Collins Dictionary. Both of the dictionaries are very important, very popular. So you must know these two words. As you have seen these two words, let's talk about its definition also. What does these definition say? A specific period of time in which a person or animal that has a disease or may have one must stay or be kept away from others in order to spread of the disease, in order to prevent the spread of the disease. This is the definition of quarantine taken from Cambridge Dictionary. And lockdown is a security measure in which those inside a building or area are required to remain confined in it for a particular time. So this is definition of lockdown. Let's move forward and talk about Nair Valley Adventure Sports. First of its kind adventure sports has been inaugurated in India, and CM Trivendra Singh Rawat inaugurated Uttarakhand's first ever adventure sports festival, and this festival is going to be held in Uttarakhand. National paragliding competition and mountain trail bike racing. These two competitions, or you may say these two events, are going to be there in the festival, and these two events will be from Lansdowne to Poddy. Lansdowne is a place and Poddy is also a place. Lansdowne, if you know, that was he was a viceroy or maybe a governor of India, British India also. So Lansdowne to Poddy, Lansdowne on his name, the place is named. Lansdowne to Poddy will take place during the festival. As we have talked about Uttarakhand, let's see who's the CM. CM is Trivendra Singh Rawat. He has inaugurated the festival, as I told you. And the governor of the state is Baby Rani Maurya. Lok Sabha has 5 representations from Uttarakhand, and Rajya Sabha has 3 representations from the state. Let's move forward and talk about first hydrogen powered double decker bus. First hydrogen powered double decker bus has been introduced in Aberdeen city of Scotland. Scotland's Aberdeen city launched the world's first hydrogen powered double decker buses. It will help reducing air pollution, first of all. Second, the bus emits water vapors instead of carbon monoxide. You know how dangerous carbon monoxide is for our environment. So instead of emitting carbon monoxide, it emits water vapors. It is first hydrogen powered double decker bus. It is launched in Scotland. So Scotland's first minister is Nicola Ferguson Sturgeon. Actually, in Scotland, prime minister is called first minister. Okay, so do not get confused. We are talking about the prime minister of the country. First minister is Nicola Ferguson Sturgeon. Capital of the country is Edinburgh, and its currency is pound sterling. Let's move forward and talk about Annapurna statue. There has been a statue of Mata Annapurna, which is now being returned to India from Canada by Canada. It is an 18th century statue believed to be smuggled to Canada, and it is believed to be originally from Varanasi. Actually, it is believed that this statue was stolen from Varanasi and been smuggled to Canada somehow. As Indian archaeologists noticed that such a statue is in Canada, they informed the Canadian and Indian government about the statue. Actually, it is a law in Canada which says that if there is any important statue which is important to some other country's culture, and it is illegally acquired to Canada, be it by smuggling, be it by any other method, then Canada will return it to that country where the statue is from. So, as the statue is from India, they are returning it to India. As we have talked about Canada, let's see who's the PM of the country. He is Justin Trudeau. Capital of the country is Ottawa, and the currency of the country is Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar. You can see here is the pic of the statue, Mata Annapurna's statue. Let's move forward and talk about project-based learning in Karnataka state. In Karnataka, on Monday, the project-based learning modules to benefit more than 18 lakh primary students, a project-based learning has been launched on Monday by Karnataka government. The project has been launched after Karnataka decided to defer its decision to reopen schools till December 2020. Karnataka government will not allow to open the schools of the state, so they have to make students learn. They have introduced this project-based learning in which they will provide some projects to the students. They will assign these projects and students have to uh, work on them. This project will help students learn in a different manner, obviously. As we have discussed Karnataka, let's see who is the CM of the state. He is B.S. Yediyurappa. Governor of the state is Vajubhai Wala. Lok Sabha has 27 representations from Karnataka and Rajya Sabha has 12 representations from the state. Let's move forward and talk about Organ Donor Memorial. There is a memorial named Organ Donor dedicated to organ donors. CM Ashok Gehlot has inaugurated the memorial. CM Ashok Gehlot, he is the CM of Rajasthan state. Mohan Foundation has set up a first of its kind organ donor memorial in the country on National Organ Donor Day. This day is celebrated on 27th November, and this memorial has been set up in Jaipur, the capital of Rajasthan. As we have talked about Rajasthan, let's see who's the CM. CM is Ashok Gehlot, who has inaugurated the memorial. Governor of the state is Kalraj Mishra, and Lok Sabha has 25 representations from the state, and Rajya Sabha has 10 representation from the state Rajasthan. Let's move forward and talk about the fourth United Economic Forum World Summit. The fourth edition of United Economic Forum World Summit to be held from 4th December. Okay, the summit will be held online. As you know that due to COVID, almost every event, every summit is being held online, being on it inaugurated online. So this is one of them that is going to be held online. This is a 3-day event which will see the participation of more than 80 speakers from 30 countries. 80 speakers from 30 countries are going to participate in this particular event. Event's name is important for you, the 4th United Economic Forum World Summit, international event it is. And another point which is important for you from this news is the theme of the event, which is Imagine, Impact, Inspire. Okay, Imagine, Impact, Inspire is the theme of 4th United Economic Forum. and this forum is going to be held in Tamil Nadu. It is going to be attended by the speakers virtually, but it is going to be held in Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu CM is going to inaugurate this. So, as we have talked about Tamil Nadu, let's see who is the CM. The CM of the state is K. Palaniswamy. Governor of the state is Banwari Lal Purohit. It has 38 Lok Sabha representations and 18 Rajya Sabha representations. Let's move forward and talk about Belgium topped FIFA rankings. Belgium has topped the FIFA rankings. See, Belgium still holds top position in FIFA rankings in November. FIFA has recently launched rankings for the month of November, in which Belgium secured the first rank, and India stood at 104th rank. As you know, India is not a very good country in terms of football, the game football. And India rise 4 spots. In previous rankings, India was at 108th position. Now it is at 104th rank. As we have talked about Indian football team, the captain of this team is Sunil Chhetri. This is an important name. You must remember this. He has scored the most goals for India at international level, which is 72 goals. As we have talked about FIFA, let's see the full form of the federation, which is Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Actually, this full form is in French language, so you must understand the English version of the full form also, which is International Federation for the Football. Headquarter of this association is in Zurich, which is in Switzerland, and the president of the association is Gianni Infantino. Gianni Infantino. Let's move forward and talk about climate change knowledge portal. There is a portal which has been launched by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They have launched the portal, and the portal will help in disseminating knowledge among citizens about all the major steps the government is taking at both national and international levels to address the climate change issues. As you know that our country is much serious about the climate change, and they are taking many big steps towards controlling the climate change. So to get the information about India's efforts, our Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has launched this portal. The name of the portal is India Climate Change Knowledge Portal. The minister of this ministry is Prakash Javadekar ji. Prakash Javadekar. आगे चलते हैं. Let's move forward and talk about Reporting India. There is a book named Reporting India, My 70 Years Journey as a Journalist. This book has been launched, and the writer of this book is journalist Prem Prakash. He is a journalist who has written this book, and you know that many books are asked in the exams, so it is important for you to remember the name of the book as well as the writer of the book. He is a journalist by profession. Let's move forward and talk about 10th National Science Film Festival. 10th National Science Film Festival. The 10th edition of National Science Film Festival kicks off in a virtual mode. I told you that due to COVID, many of the events are going to be held virtually. So this is one of them that is going to be held in virtual mode. 115 shortlisted films selected by 10-member jury will be screened during the festival. In this festival, 115 shortlisted films are going to be screened. Actually, let me tell you that this Science Film Festival is specially organized for such films that promote scientific knowledge, scientific information among people, because when we talk about entertainment, entertainment is not about only romance, only fight, only revenge. So to promote these type of movies in India, there is a film festival organized, which is National Science Film Festival. And the Science Film Festival offers a unique platform to showcase the science films made by professionals, amateur and student filmmakers under various themes to promote science films in India. In Bollywood, there are not many movies on science theme, which is called sci-fi movies. So to promote that, this Science Film Festival is organized. Let's move forward and talk about Jallikattu movie. Jallikattu movie. There is a movie named Jallikattu, which is the official entry from our country to the 93rd Academy Awards. Academy Awards are popularly known as Oscar Awards. So, as you know, Oscar Awards is considered the most prestigious awards in the world. So, any movie going to that awards is important for you, which is Jallikattu. It is hoped that this movie will win the award as well for the best movie or maybe in any other category. And this movie has been nominated by Film Federation of India. Film Federation of India. The film is based on S. Harish's Malayalam short story. Short story's name is Maoist. 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 Okay. The name of that short story is Maoist. Jallikattu is refers to the traditional event of running bulls. Actually, as you know, that Jallikattu is an event which is celebrated as a festival in South Indian states, mostly in Tamil Nadu. So on that, this story has been written. And as Film Federation of India has nominated this, you must know the headquarter of the this federation is in Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra. And as we have talked about Tamil Nadu also, let's discuss the CM of this state. He is K. Palaniswamy. Governor of the state is Banwari Lal. It has 38 Lok Sabha seats and Rajya Sabha seats are 18 for the state. Now let's move forward to Director General of BRO. Major General Rajiv Chaudhary will take over the reins of BRO. BRO stands for Border Road Organization. Border Road Organization. This organization was set up to develop and maintain roads in the border area of the country. The BRO develops and maintains road network in India's border areas and friendly neighboring countries also. BRO maintains operations in 19 states, okay, 19 states and 3 union territories and neighboring countries also, such as Afghanistan, Bhutan, Myanmar and Sri Lanka. So now you know that whenever we talk about Afghanistan and we talk about making any road in that country, you must know that it was made by BRO. And another point that you know about this organization is that it is run by Army. BRO has its headquarters in New Delhi. It is founded in 1960. It is under Ministry of Defense and the Defense Minister of our country is Rajnath Singh. Let's move forward and talk about first super fast EV charging motor station. There is a motor charging station being set up by MG Motors in collaboration with Tata Power. They have opened this first super fast EV charging station in Nagpur. The location of this station is Nagpur. What is this EV? This EV stands for electric vehicle. As you know that electric vehicles are the future in automobile industry. So it becomes important to know that such a first charging station is opened at Nagpur, because in future you will see, as we see many petrol pumps around us, same like that we will see the charging stations in future. So first ever such a charging station is opened at Nagpur. Nagpur is in Maharashtra, and Maharashtra's CM is Uddhav Thackeray, governor is Bhagat Singh Koshyari. It has 48 Lok Sabha seats and 19 Rajya Sabha seats. Maharashtra is the second largest state in terms of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha representations in the parliament. Let's move forward and talk about MP government. MP government to set up plant for clean fuel from stubble burning. They will set up a plant which will make a clean fuel from the stubble that farmers usually burn, and because of that pollution gets severe. The Madhya Pradesh government has proposed a plan to set up an industrial producing fuel from stubble burned by farmers in the state. An industrial plant is going to be set up by Madhya Pradesh government which will use the stubble to produce the fuel. And as we have talked about Madhya Pradesh, the CM of the state is Shivraj Singh Chauhan. The governor of the state is Anandiben Patel. I always tell you whenever Anandiben Patel's discussion comes that she was the first CM, first women CM of the state of Gujarat. Okay, and she is having additional charge of Uttar Pradesh's governor also. Madhya Pradesh has 29 Lok Sabha representations and it has 11 Rajya Sabha representations. Let's move forward and talk about Archery Association of India. Archery Association of India. Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry has restored the government recognition to Archery Association of India as a nation sports federation for promotion and regulation of archery sport in the country, in India. Actually, there is a rule which is named as National Sports Development Code of India. And according to this rule, government recognition of AAI was withdrawn 8 years back on account of failure to conduct its elections in accordance with the National Sports Development Code of India, which I told you. See, this code, these rules says that you have to, the organization have to conduct fair elections every year to have the recognition from Indian Sports Ministry, which is Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry as of now. As we have talked about Archery Association of India, let's see, the president of the association is Arjun Munda. Its headquarters is in New Delhi. Let's move forward and talk about Mask Bank. First of its kind Mask Bank has been inaugurated by North Delhi's Mayor Jay Prakash. Jay Prakash, the Mayor of North Delhi Municipal Corporation. Actually, in Delhi, the municipal corporation has been divided in three parts: North Delhi, South Delhi, and East Delhi. There is no West Delhi. North Delhi, South Delhi, and East Delhi Municipal Corporation. And the North Delhi Mayor Jay Prakash on Wednesday inaugurated a Mask Bank at Sadar Bazaar in Central Delhi. Sadar Bazaar is a bazaar, is a place, market where this Mask Bank has been opened. Free masks are provided there, obviously, and one can do donations also at that mask bank. One can get free masks and can donate as well. So as we have talked about Delhi, let's see the CM of the state. He is Arvind Kejriwal. Lieutenant Governor of the state, actually it is a UT, although it has CM, but Delhi is a UT. The Lieutenant Governor of Delhi is Anil Baijal. It has 7 Lok Sabha representations while it has 3 Rajya Sabha representations. Let's move forward and talk about Fit India School Week. Kiran Rijiju launched second edition of Fit India School Week. The virtual event was conducted with the aim to encourage kids to inculcate physical activity and sports in their daily routine as school is the first place where habits are formed. This is the logic that was given. And Kiran Rijiju is our sports minister with independent charge. You must know this. The Fit India School Week program was launched in November last year and saw participation from over 15,000 schools across the country. So you must know that this is not the first edition, it is the second edition, and the first edition was launched last year. And more than 15,000 schools are participating in this Fit India School Week. So I hope you liked this session. This was the last news for the session. If you like this session, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, do subscribe to the channel Vidya Guru, and do not forget to press the bell icon. We will be coming with the more informative sessions in future. Thank you so much.